Welcome to episode 44 of the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. My name is Jackman Oaks.
And I'm Brian Hines. And in case you haven't noticed, in case you've been living under a rock, we have a couple of very special guests with us today. Good guy, all around, Eric Cornish, and the lovely Linda Kay.
Thank you for that lovely intro.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Tiny Brian is back there with us. He's in the chat.
Yes, I am, and I'm in there as at OVW Podcast, which is our YouTube page. You can at me directly with your questions, comments, concerns, complaints for the lovely Linda Kay and the guy also known as Brad Bacon, voice of the Valley, Eric Cornish.
Nice.
Get those. I'm never going to give up on Brad Bacon. That is my favorite thing ever. But
do your research, kiddos.
Yeah, or just go listen to our interview with you from a few months ago.
Yeah.
And if you do a super chat, we will interrupt them. Whatever they're talking about, we're going to cut right in with your question. It's a way to just nose right into the party. So get your questions, comments, concerns. We're going to get those a little later, unless they're super interesting and I decide I want to interrupt with them now. Or if you super chat.
I've actually got my own super chat here at the beginning of the show. You're lovely, Linda Kay. And then there's this other person comes along. Their name is Lovely Miss Larkin. Any beef there between you guys?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
Miss Larkin, you know what? I am one of the few there that does actually see that physical knife. Everybody says it's imaginary.
Really?
My girl,
Oh, yeah.
I know it's there.
Okay, so we'll have to ask you to describe this knife after the show because it's been a heated debate.
By the way, she told me she named it Little T as in trauma.
Okay.
That's what she told me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no beef at all. I love Larkin.
Becky Katie
lovely.
reminds me to not forget about Artichoke Jenkins either.
There was that guy, too.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
that was
my
my
grandfather.
favorite.
My
I mean, it sounds like a great dip all the way around.
It was a dip in time. All the way back to 1984. It's great. He'll be back someday.
Well,
Good.
we can't wait. For Brad Bacon or Artichoke Jenkins, either one.
Or what other food-based character you want to come up with.
It's true.
So, Brian Hines,
Yeah.
did you have something you were going to say? I didn't want to railroad you, friend.
No. I didn't really have anything to say other than he will have questions for us later. But in the meantime, we have plenty of things to talk about. As a matter of fact, we had an interview come out Monday.
Mm-hmm. That was with Josh Ashcraft.
That's right.
I've known Josh for a long time, and I thought we were friends. I'm kind of jealous. He's sending you text messages. He's asking you where you're at Comic-Con. I'm kind of jealous. Okay.
Well, to be fair, where were you at Comic-Con?
I was around. I was hanging out with Trish and Lita and Danny Trejo.
Okay.
Thank you.
I saw you. You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was
And
there.
on that note, I will shut it because I did not get a chance to hang out with Trish or Lita or Sergeant Slaughter or any of those folks.
Sergeant Slaughter was the hit of the con. I've heard a dozen different people say things about Sergeant
Dude,
Slaughter.
he was great. He was a great neighbor to the booth. I will tell you that.
I bet he was.
Now, as far as Trisha and Lita, I waited a long time for them to quit eating so they would walk by my table. And it just didn't happen. But you know who did? Hunky Brewster. And
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
that's lame.
So
Little Moon Fry. Yeah.
made my day.
7-year-old me would
Oh.
just be over the moon.
Yeah.
50-year-old me
She's
is
little.
over the moon.
She's like Linda's height. She's tiny.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
She was. So was Trish,
Sorry, but
for that
straight.
matter.
Oh, yeah. I
Super
didn't
short.
get close enough. Sorry.
I
wish.
looked from afar. I didn't get the nerve up to go up and say anything, but yeah, I was surprised. I had a wonderful time at the con.
So yeah, we've got that interview with Josh. That's up in our YouTube feed. We also have a new new episode of our show going up on our YouTube channel at OVW Podcast. We ask everyone that's tuned in for the Fan Zone Live. We see how much you guys love hanging out with each other in the chat. Take the party from this chat over to our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. and continue the party over there.
It's going to look a little bit different than it normally does.
Yeah, we tried some new stuff on this episode. So give us some feedback on the new stuff.
And I actually want to take a moment and thank OVW Creative and Al Snow specifically for giving us access to clips from Rise that will now be a part of the OVW podcast, and you will see that with our very first try at showing clips during the broadcast at 8 o'clock.
Do you have that Dustin Jackson clip, by the way?
We do have a clip to kind of show things off.
Go ahead and show that Dustin Jackson
Y'all are
clip
gonna
really
love
quick.
this.
Is the magic screen up?
We are so excited. Say, I've been waiting to cream on somebody.
Right again.
Come on, PS. We know.
Say, I've been waiting to cream on somebody.
Yeah, there we go.
Line of the week from last
Been waiting
week.
to cream
be
on
sure.
somebody. Malachi, keep that handy because I'm
One
going to
more
want to
for
see
the
that
road.
again.
Yeah.
I want to see.
I've been waiting to cream on somebody.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So
Well then.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off the
We've
bat.
become a shock jock morning show here somehow.
Oh no, this has been my plan from day one. Brian Hines, where can we catch all of the OVW superstars over the coming weeks and months,
Well,
including our guests here tonight?
It is funny. You should ask. You can catch them every Thursday at OVW Rise, Hot Point Davis Arena, 6:30 p.m. OVW March Mayhem 2025. That is also at Hot Point Davis Arena on March 29th. OVW Appalachian Armageddon in Pikeville, Kentucky is part of the legendary Hillbilly Days Festival. That is April 25th. There is a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio on June 28th. And most recently announced our favorite shows of the year, the Manchester Music Hall shows. The next one you can catch if you're here in Lexington or willing to travel to Lexington. It's totally worth it. That is July 5th. And you can get tickets for all of these at ovwtix.com.
And if you find yourself in town for that show, maybe you send the OVW podcast a text message if you want to have some fun. Just saying. Maybe
we can't say things out loud here, but there may be things happening.
remember, just let us know. Let us know.
That's more of an unofficial tidbit. This is,
well,
it's Wednesday. We're official now. So
Yeah,
for the
be
next
all right.
hour
Shoot
or
us a
so, we
text
need to
message.
straighten up.
It'll be all right.
But the nostalgia, unofficial.
Yes.
You have to keep the tie in there. So.
Yeah. So
Oh,
actually,
we're still unofficial a lot of times.
More often than not.
on these summer tours, they've kind of become huge marquee events for OVW.
Yeah.
Are there any memories that stick out or like favorite towns that you guys have visited during these tours?
You want to start?
Yeah, for me, it was my first time in Nashville, and it was while
Okay.
Wrestlers was being filmed. But not only did we have a show in Nashville, but just footsteps away from Broadway. Or yes.
Yeah, Broadway.
And it was just amazing just to be there, and not just because Wrestlers was being filmed, but just to be doing another show, another state, another huge city, and just reaching a new audience. And it was just so cool because we also tag teamed that show together, announcing. So that was really cool too.
And you totally stole my answer because that's my favorite show. Just because I spent so much time in Nashville in my radio career. That was so cool to just be there on that lawn, like in front of the Hall of Fame, and just to look at the skyline in the background, and it just came full circle this weekend when Luke and Layla got engaged.
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
And,
Congratulations,
and they
you
got
two
married
crazy
this
kids.
weekend. So yeah, congrats, Mitch, you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was such a cool show. But I will say the Manchester shows, absolutely love them. It is a great atmosphere, and I hope one day we actually do like TV or pay-per-view there. I think that would be amazing.
yeah,
That'd be
that's
outstanding.
another huge show. I did have a match. Me and Cash tag teamed.
That's true.
It's against Shannon, I believe, and with Joe
Oh
Matt.
yeah.
And so I don't get in the ring too often, but that was called for, so that was very cool. Another special moment.
Yeah.
Great audience and you guys there, and it was tremendous.
And as soon as everything gets registered with the state, you'll see more of these shows popping up. They're already in the pipeline for this summer, as they always are. So,
All right.
So another full summer of wrestling then.
so far it's looking pretty packed.
So I do note that Manchester. You talk about wanting to do a pay-per-view or a Rise there. I do note that Manchester Music Show on the 5th of July is a Saturday.
It is.
I'm just saying. I don't know anything. I've not heard anything. And if you guys know, you can't
Nor have
say.
I.
I'm sure.
No, I mean,
but
I really haven't heard anything.
We'd love to see an Independence Rage right there from Manchester because it's a perfect, really good room for wrestling. I always have a good time there.
We'll pass along that info.
And not to mention, I mean, OVW is one of Kentucky's greatest institutions. You guys have done a great job of doing like the untelevised shows at, all over the state. It kind of does seem like that might be the next step is getting, a Rise or a pay-per-view in some of these other locations. We saw in Pikeville over the summer, of course, a big pay-per-view that was a ton of fun, be out that far east with the Ohio Valley Wrestling Superstars. But
It's a huge undertaking. That's one of the. I mean, you don't realize how much goes in. Like when WWE or AEW, they're out on the road and they literally have the mobile, broadcast thing that they put together, and it's going. A lot of this stuff is like ingrained in the Davis Arena.
Yeah.
So you
have
got to
to
rip
really
it all out
decamp.
and then move it somewhere else. It's a big undertaking. So that's probably why we don't do more.
Sure.
But we like to do it, and the Pikeville show was awesome, and so we made it work.
Yeah, we did a lot of promoting that week of too, just doing meet and greets and signings and just getting there a few days prior, checking out the space and meeting the great folks of the area. So to Eric's point, it does take, obviously we all know, a lot to really make something happen, especially when we're far from where things are normally in place here or at Davis Arena. But I'm looking forward to that show next month too.
So I guess the show that you guys both mentioned as being a marquee moment in your travels with OVW is that Nashville show. That would have been 3 years ago?
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Summer of 22.
Yeah, it's because it was a SummerSlam weekend. I was actually at the show that you guys were talking about because I had tickets for a later show earlier that night. You guys were right downtown where the bus station is. I said, I'm going to go see OVW until I have, my other engagements. When you look back at the last 3 years, really the last two, I guess, year and a half since Wrestlers has come out, that's such a huge deal for you guys and such a huge deal for the promotion. Can you believe that much time has passed?
It's a different world. I mean, we are living in a completely different world than we were in the summer of 22.
Yeah.
And everything about our promotion is different now. And I can't believe it's been that long. But then again, when I think about it, it's like, wow, that seems like it was forever ago. Because I've gone back and watched it again, a lot. So when I go back and watch it, I'm like, man, the arena looks different. The people that used to be there and aren't anymore. And
even just the logo or graphics, a lot has changed. And also, I have some friends and coworkers that didn't know that I was even a part of it, so now they're watching it back. So they're asking me questions, and I'm reliving it. How you said you've been watching it back, and it's crazy to think how much time has passed. But in turn, it also feels like it was yesterday in a way too. Yeah. So weird.
A little bit of both.
Is there any, when you guys have rewatched it, and I know I only bring it up, kind of because we're on a fence post, 2 years removed from it or whatever. Is there anything on your guys' rewatches that you just cringe when it's about to happen, whether it be to you yourself or to something else? Is there anything that you really don't like reliving from that time period?
Please tell us about your pain.
No, I mean, for me, I don't think there was really anything related to me that was wrong. I mean, I'll remember some of those moments where even if I'm not on screen, I was right there for a lot of the stuff, I can remember it, well. We were talking about some stuff on the way down here that I remember them filming and thought for sure it was going to be part of the show and wasn't. And I mean, I'll tell you about it. One of them was a budding relationship between Jada Stone and Jay Malachi. And you know who Jay Malachi is now, right? On NXT, Joanne Evans. So, and of course, Jada's doing awesome stuff in Japan.
Yeah,
so,
she's working her ass off.
She's
in
out
Japan.
there everywhere.
So it's one of those things.
Both of them, but
nobody would have thought that storyline, and their love for each other, their young budding love, it didn't make it in the documentary, but look where they are now.
Yeah.
That could have been a big deal,
Oh yeah, and wrestling fans love that. Oh, look before they were look.
But as far as the cringy stuff is I don't know, looking back at just some of the stuff, I'm sure Haley regrets being on camera with some of the stuff that they showed there, and who doesn't regret seeing Cash's butt? I mean, there's that too.
Well, we got a little refresher of that a couple weeks ago at the Davis Arena.
Yeah.
So
we have the uncut video of that actually.
Ready to
No. This is a family show.
What about you? I mean, you had a great moment. I loved your moment that you had there at Country Boy. I mean, you looked like a superstar in that one.
It was cool, and having Styx playing at that moment, it was just a big 80s rock fan, or music. Well, we're both obviously big music fans, but being a part of that montage was so cool, too. But I will say, I wasn't on there much, but being a part of the first minute, and the line, Eric still says it to me this day, I'll walk past him.
You smell good.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody knows she smells good from the first minute.
See,
of the
that's
documentary.
amazing.
And
I'll
she did.
take
She
that.
got in the car today, and I was like, "You smell good," but everybody knows that.
And that's why seeing Haley all the time do a little hug, and she'd
Yeah.
be like, "You smell good." It's just like us reliving that special moment.
well, if there's only one way that people are going to remember me smelling good, I'll take that.
Sure,
I'll take
It
it.
could be worse, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is true. Yeah, I mean, we walked in the office before we got here, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. You smell really nice tonight. So
There you go.
I can vouch for that. That is 100% true.
Flip side to the last question I just asked: is there anything when you're rewatching it that you can't wait to see again?
What do you got?
Well, I will say the moment with Al in that montage, because that was an emotional moment. I think for a lot of us, whether we admit it or not, I definitely shed a tear for as long and how well that I know Uncle Al. But watching that piece again and it piecing together and like the clips from Al like in the past and the history and how everything's come together, that's a moment that I'm always like,
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was Haley and Maria in that match. I mean, I remember. I mean, I sat 6 feet away from it, and admittedly, I'm not a deathmatch person. And I remember watching the match. And I've told both of them this. I was like, it was just for me. It was like, okay, well, it's fine, you know. But then you watch it on the documentary, and I literally shed a tear.
Oh, it looks like a movie.
Yeah, I mean the way they told their story, and I mean, you know, I love both of those women with all my heart. They're wonderful, you know. So when you get into their background, which I didn't know all of that until I watched the documentary, so learned a lot. And yeah, they filmed it in such a way that it was like emotional for everybody.
Yeah, they made that moment feel so palpable.
The match wasn't, you know, the story, you know, it's everything else that built up to, and that's what wrestling's all about too.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
And even the setup moment where the computer went down and Maria had to go out and fill just kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was the TV and the computer went out so many times I couldn't even tell you. At least we don't have that as much anymore.
Hey, at least weep not for the memories, I guess.
Right, exactly.
Brand new problems.
Tiny Brian, how's the chat looking over there?
It's looking good. We do need your questions and comments. And hey, if you're in there, go ahead and give us a like on this stream and subscribe to OVW if you're not. But before we go to break, there is there's a story that we need to hear.
Oh, are we doing that right now?
Yeah, let's do it now
before we
get into predictions.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take care of this at the end of this first segment. Not you. You stay put. You guys, Malachi's about to launch something. I have no idea what he was about to do.
No.
That Dustin Jackson clip? No. So I guess we'll preface this. This has been a point of laughter for us. A light ribbing, really, over the name Cash Flow and Mahabali Shira, two of the biggest stars of wrestlers on Netflix.
Who went on to be Golden Lions.
Who went on to be Golden Lions, but for a brief second was called Lion Chops. And that really stuck out in the world of our podcast. Yeah. And I've been led to believe, Voice of the Valley, Eric Corner, that you have the inside scoop on how Lion Chops happened.
Oh, I certainly do.
I cannot wait.
And so this was before there was Golden Lions. I don't even think it had been mentioned yet. But so the first night that they were teaming together, as you know, so it's a big title match. I'm in the ring because it is a title match, and when that happens, everybody gets in the ring. You know, now the lights go down. I didn't do that back then. But as I'm standing there, and I'm just ready to announce Cash Flow, Mahabali Shira. Cash walks over, and he goes, Lion Chops. And I went, excuse me? He's like, Lion Chops. He's like, that's the name. I said, sure about that? He goes, yeah.
Are you sure you want to do that?
And so, all right, here we go. And I said it, and you could almost hear like a pin drop in that crowd. And I remember here like, you know, it's like Cash Flow, Mahabali Shira, Lion Chops, and then it went
yeah.
And I think I looked at Cash, and he went. Kind of gave me that look, and I was like, so we knew at that moment, yeah, probably not the way to go. No. So it became Golden Lions. I don't know who came up with that, but I can't take credit for either one of those.
Sure.
I mean, I'll take credit for some other ones because I've named Beaches and Cream and Loud and Lawless, so pretty proud of that.
Good job on both of those.
Yeah,
good job.
But no, I did not name Lion Chops, but I've heard you talk about it so much I had to tell you. And yeah, I'm blaming it on Cash. You know, he's got all the fame now anyway.
So did he think whenever he brought this to you, he was like, nah, cuz this stuff that you can't wait until you hear this.
I don't know if he's the one that said, but again, if he had come to me backstage, I might have said, are you sure?
Yeah.
But it was in the moment, and it was like, I'm standing in the ring, and he's
live
like,
TV, yeah.
He's like, Lion Chops. I'm like, alrighty. Here we go.
Well,
so now you know the story, and that's how it happened.
This is one of the great mysteries that we now have shed light upon. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, Lion Chops is one of my favorite things that's happened since OVW. We started covering OVW just because, to borrow your words, You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
Sure about
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That was just a one time, right?
It was one time, and
Yeah.
it never happened again.
I'm just so happy we were covering the podcast then, because
Yes.
that's a little piece of history that's not going anywhere. It's lodged here forever.
Yeah, I need to go back and find that. Malachi, find that clip.
I may have called our
yours.
episode "Line Chops" the week that happened, so I'll just go back and look.
So we do want to run to break real quick.
Yeah, before we actually go to break tonight, we're going to take you back to last week's Rise very briefly.
That
yeah,
that
yeah.
Dustin Jackson clip.
No, maybe later. Look, the fact that he flashes it for one frame is killing me.
How do you think it makes us feel?
So yeah, we're going to take you back to last week on Rise. AJ talking about, and then we're going to see the trailer for
Queen of the Ring.
Queen of the Ring. AJ kind of talks about the OVW connections a little bit, and then we get into the trailer, and then we'll do ads, and we'll be right back.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
We are so excited because the new movie Queen of the Ring is in theaters now. They trained, all of the actors trained right here at OVW. A lot of the superstars are featured in that film. Let's take a look at Queen of the Ring.
Oh, honey, I had a bad dream. Only dreams that we make come true, are we? We're gonna wish away all those bad thoughts. 1, 2, 3. I promise you, my son, our lives together will be special.
Where's your little boy's father, anyway?
Mister, I ain't gonna marry no circus freak. He done let me over this.
I'm really curious to see what you can do with her.
You barely know him. He's the only man that's ever believed in my dream.
We got a job to do tonight. You go out there, you wrestle your heart out.
Looks like we're cleaning up every night of the week now.
Mom, all the tickets you two ever sold had your name on them, not his.
Mr. McMahon, how can I get a guarantee that my ladies can wrestle in the state of New York? Let's show them how we do it in the South.
Come on, Mom, get up. Remember, 1,
I'm actually the highest paid female athlete. In Washington? In history?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Have you seen how cool this shirt is?
I see that.
You know, we have a whole TeePublic shop that sells these.
I did not know that, no.
We do, yes. And we have links in all of our social media about it. You can get this or you can get the unofficial.
You can get this or you can get that.
That is absolutely true.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
Hey, it's Voice of the Valley, Eric Cornish, and I'm in the OVW
Fan Zone.
Welcome back, OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. My name's Jack Minogues.
I'm Brian Hines.
We're joined today by the voice of the Valley, Eric Cornish, and a lovely Linda Kay. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We've had a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So sometimes we do predictions on the show, and sometimes it's hard
the
to
word, Malachi. Prediction.
Oh, God, really? Shut it, party of one.
Well, as I was saying, now if you keep edging me on it, I'm gonna get upset about it. Okay? If you're gonna imply cream, you better give me cream, Malachi.
You pinched it off right before the best part.
So sometimes when we do this segment, we're sitting with these wrestlers, and they're a little, they got to go in the back room with these people. They got to share a locker room with these people. Eventually, they're gonna have to share a ring with these people. Linda, you have shared a ring with some of them. Mm-hmm. You're more on the outside. So feel free to jump in, be honest about what we have going on here in the prediction segment.
I don't mind at all predicting. All good.
All right.
Let's get into.
I didn't predict
that
you would say that, but I'm glad you did.
Let's
that you did.
Let's review last week first of all. We started with lovely Miss Larkin versus J-Rod. Brian, you predicted for lovely Miss Larkin. Jackman took J-Rod, and Jackman, you take the win there. Both of you have to take the L for predicting Leo Fox to prevail over Jesse Goddard.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
And that was me predicting with my heart instead of my head.
Yep, that's a problem around here sometimes.
It'd be like that.
However, you guys do manage. Take the dub for Dustin Jackson, Beaches and Cream over Tony Evans, Jay De Niro, and Anthony Katina. You also get the dub for Sophia Rose versus over Micah Madrid. Both of you chose Sophia in that one. But you split the Freya the Slayer versus Viperous match. Jackman, you took Viperous, but Brian Hines, you get the dub with Freya the Slayer. Then both of you, I was kind of amazed at this. Our main event, both of you took Big Zoe over Cal Hero.
We did. That one.
Jamer Levencia is going to bust in here and beat you guys up like now.
Well, and I think both of us were thinking at the time, like, we don't know what's really. The last time we saw Cal, we didn't know if Jamin and him were friends. We didn't know if they were enemies. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know, certainly didn't predict in 1,000 lifetimes that Jamin was going to be in Cal's corner, coaching him, walking him through the match, and giving him permission to do the standing O.
You could probably hear my voice when Jamin walked out. I didn't know he was coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was like getting ready to announce Cal, and it was like, company to the ring by like I was shocked. So yeah,
it was a surprise. It was a shocking turn of events in that main event from last Thursday. It was very exciting.
You guys also went with the big. I assume both of you made the big heart play, predicting Justice Davis over Star Rider. But you both have to take the L there.
Yeah, no, I'll stand by that one.
It happens.
But somebody's got to get this Star Rider in line.
But both of you will go out on a high note, as you both did correctly predict Adam Revolver would defeat Revolution member AJZ. So Human Thumb for the win. Brian Hines.
Amazing sunset flip to pinning predicament for that on Adam Revolver.
That was a thing of beauty.
Amazing.
It really was.
All right, so
I still don't have anything nice to say about Adam Revolver. I don't think
you guys have had a history with him, and we understand that completely.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Linda, he had to put his feet. I think he put him all the way up on the third rope. I don't even think second rope was enough leverage.
Once where technically he got the win over me. But another time, that was when I accidentally got the fanny pack knee. But me and Cal did our thing. Yeah,
he just punched me in the face. He just punched me in the face. I think.
Well, that too. But even it's fine with that Revolver because with that match where me and Cal tagged together, when after Adam pinned me, he flexed. Oops. He flexed and just really gloated over that. I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah.
And then in Pikeville, yes, he did Cheat to win.
Yeah, I remember. That was awful.
That was a heartbreaker. Everyone in the audience, too, who is maybe a little less familiar with Adam Revolver and how he likes to win, were like, what is going on? They got that pretty little girl out here and this bald jerk. And that was a great moment.
That was also after a barrage of insults, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of Adam Revolver's all-time great lines. I won't repeat it here, but that night he had a line that was not just wrestling funny, but was like, "Oh, that was really good, Adam." That was
They
really,
mentioned
really
something
funny.
regarding star of a profession.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I know which one.
One of my favorite
And
promos.
the one about voting. There's one about voting that I thought was very funny.
Oh my goodness, I'd forgotten about that. One of my favorite promos involves you and Adam Revolver. However, it's when he was still with Shannon, and they're wandering around the backstage area, and he had a match with you. And he's like, this woman, this will be fine. And we cut to around the corner where they can see you, but you can't see them, and you are just laying into a bag. And I'm like, I don't want to mess with her.
I think you kicked right through the bag. I think you split the bag.
No, it was me and Cal, too. He was holding the Muay Thai pads. I'm not going to hit the mic this time. I like to talk with my hands a lot here.
Sure.
So, but yeah, he was holding the Muay Thai pads. We were just getting ready, training for the match.
No,
They had it coming.
You were like,
yeah.
Those were some of the swiftest kicks I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so that has stuck with me low this year and a half later. So, all right, you guys ready to get into this week's episode? What we know about tomorrow?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's open up with a rematch from Overdrive, seeing butthurt veteran Jack Vaughn taking on relative newcomer to OVW, Brandon Davis.
BD against BH.
What can you tell us about Brandon Davis? It seems like he got a reaction out of both of you guys.
We've seen him on Overdrive. We know he's been there a few times. This is his Rise debut, though, right?
This is his Rise debut, and I've had the pleasure of calling a couple of his matches. Good-looking young man. He's from what I've seen, he's got a big following on social media, and he's done a lot of interviewing big celebrities and things like that. And now he's kind of going into the realm of wrestling, which I think he's doing a great job. I mean, going up against some of our biggest competitors, in Jack Vaughn and in Cal Hero, and
definitely,
has done well. Hasn't picked up his first victory yet, but I think has earned enough respect to go into a match like this with a rematch against Jack Vaughn. So, so I'm happy to see where he will go from here. So it remains to be seen. You never know. It's OVW, right? It is stiffest competition you can find.
So everybody wants to be.
And this is a qualifier for the heavyweight championship in the March Mayhem tournament. So, gentlemen, with that in mind, what's your picks? The veteran making the veteran move, or do you think Brandon Davis will be the upstart favorite here?
You want me to go? You want to go?
It doesn't matter. You want to do Daniel Spencer style and do paper, rock, scissors?
No, it will take too much time. He's too slow with that. You go. You go ahead.
All right, fair enough. I think this go around, I'm going to have to go with Butthurt, Jack Vaughn, Party of One. Just because I don't know enough about Brandon Davis. I mean, I could totally be fooled and just be completely stunned by a win from Brandon Davis. But right now, that's where I'm going.
It's hard for me to say definitively Jack Vaughn, just because the version of Jack Vaughn that we've been seeing, he's very in his own feelings, he's very in his own head. He's a little different than the Jack Vaughn that was the heavyweight champion a handful of months ago.
That's true.
Having said that, he has been there before. He knows what it takes, and he will do whatever it takes as well. So it makes it very hard to argue against Jack Vaughn. So I won't. I'm going to take Jack Vaughn.
All right.
To say, we have seen somebody come in and just kind of sweep all the way to a belt very quickly. So, it's one, oh my goodness.
J-Rod?
No.
Yes,
that too.
J-Rod and
I was
Mount
thinking,
Kadim.
I was actually thinking
Buzz
of
Backlund.
Yes, there it is. Buzz Backlund is who
Buzz
I was
Backlund,
thinking
yeah.
of.
And Mount Kadim's a good call as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's right.
So, and that's the beauty of this whole tournament situation. It
Yeah.
is March. It gets crazy. You never know when a Cinderella could come. I mean, we've already seen it with the Only Bros there. So, with Boy Toy Troy and Star Player Prime. So
is that what we're calling them? Only Bros?
That's what they like to call themselves.
Only Bros.
So we're going with Only Bros. Yeah.
The No Cake they don't like that name?
No.
The no cake?
No.
Well, and if you ask them, they are the only two bros in the world. Like, I think it's less of a only fans play and more of a like, no, we're the only two bros. We're the only two bros that have ever been this amount of bro ever. Yeah. Like, those two boys love each other.
True. Yeah. And how could you not love them?
No, they're amazing.
Yeah,
they're
amazing.
Right. Well, let's move into bout 2 of what we know for tomorrow. This is an OVW Women's Championship qualifier match for the March Mayhem pay-per-view. We're seeing a relative newcomer to OVW, Maddie the American Baddie, taking on Carter Kaufman. I think we've seen Maddie on Rise before, haven't we, folks?
Yes, and in the previous Women's Nightmare Rumbles as well.
Right.
I'm going to go Maddie the American Baddie. The few times that I've seen her, the handful of times that I've seen her, and the pedigree that she comes with, Carter Kaufman is, even though she has a pin over J-Rod, we should never forget that. It's always worth mentioning. Carter Kaufman, for me, just is having a little bit of trouble piecing stuff together, and she's not going to have her friend Sophia Rose there in her corner. So I think it's time for I think it's time for the American Baddie. That's who I'm going with.
Okay. Hans, while I was reading the chat, did you go when I missed it?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Carter Kaufman. For the reason that she does have a win over J-Rod.
Always have to mention it.
Always have to mention it.
The only one with a singles win over J-Rod.
I was the only one who remembered it. You were like, who did that? When did that happen? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Carter Kaufman, remember? And then you looked it up in the middle of the show, and you were like, hey, Hans is right. And I'm like, yeah, duh.
Carter Kaufman.
And so modest.
Carter Kaufman.
Every once in a while I get one right. Not often.
You always have to bring it up because when you get a win over J-Rod, the most dominant champion in OVW, it's always that's always going to make you more of a competitor, right?
Absolutely.
There's just something in the wind. I just can't go for Carter Kaufman.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. If I got a win over J-Rod, I'd be letting everybody know.
For sure, yeah.
I did kind of in a way, but that's a whole other story for a different time.
Let's move on to our third bout for predictions. This is a tag team match that sees AJZ and Leo Fox from the Revolution taking on Showtime Shanklin, who will, come on, man, and Justice Davis.
Glad to see Showtime and Justice back together. I really thought that those two guys were cooking. I really, really thought those two guys were cooking. Showtime has been a different performer, a different wrestler, a different person ever since he's gotten to team up with Justice Davis. Seems like Justice Davis just fills in that little bit of confidence that maybe Showtime has trouble finding. I love them as a pairing.
Yeah.
Leo Fox and AJZ, though, man, that's tough. Like, that's real tough to be on the other side of the ring from. What are you thinking, Brian Hines?
I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, on one hand, like you said, AJZ and Leo Fox, very formidable, both much larger in stature than Showtime Shanklin and Justice Davis, but do they have the chemistry? They are both on the Revolution, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are that cohesive unit that AJZ and Dalton McKenzie were.
Sure.
Yeah. Or
is this a tag qualifier? Do you guys know?
Yes, it is.
I was going to say, yeah, we want to throw that in there as well.
We're filling in the final spots in all the Fatal 4-Ways for next week.
So we'll have a full idea.
Yeah. Is when we really get into it and throw it down. As much as I like AJZ and Leo Fox, come on, man. Yeah.
I like that. That's another Cinderella story. I'm kind of with you on that one.
And it's basketball season, and that jumper off the top rope.
He's going to hit that last second shot.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Josh Gardner has a super chat for $5 that says, would you like to see OVW have a cross-promotion event with Memphis Wrestling?
Memphis Wrestling, kind of a YouTube darling right now, getting a lot of views, getting some guys that have come from the bigger promotions down to Memphis Wrestling, just for maybe people that don't know about it. I know that sentimentally you're a big Memphis Wrestling guy, but this isn't necessarily the same thing.
But I'm saying that it's not the same thing, but I do know some people that have been down in that area. I think what they're doing is great. A lot of people ask if we'll do co-promotions with people. I don't think we necessarily need to go that direction.
Right.
I think we we're doing pretty well, and the co-promotion I don't think's necessary, but more than welcome to use some of their talent. They take some of ours down there, but anyway, I love what they're doing though.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. It's a good little. It's you got an hour. It's a fun hour that you spend on YouTube.
Okay, so reading that and everything, I may have gotten a little kerfuffle. Did we have a final call on AJZ versus Leo? Or AJZ and Leo versus Showtime and Justice?
You're going Showtime and Justice.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. And can you spell kerfuffle?
No.
Okay.
I can't spell anything.
I thought so. Good.
I'm gonna go with my co-host here, just based on that this is for the Fatal 4-Way, a spot at the Fatal 4-Way, which could mean a spot at the pay-per-view. Justice Davis and Showtime Shanklin. There's probably two people. Those are two wrestlers that want to transcend to that next level. And being in the Fatal 4-Way, potentially getting on the pay-per-view, that's how you do it. I just think that they're going to come out a little hungrier than AJZ and Leo Fox.
And they got sweet matching gear now.
I was just going to say sweet, too, just to go along with, obviously, with March Mayhem, March Madness, Cinderella Story, Final Four, Fatal 4-Way. It would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
And we're just...
And Elite 8, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And long story short, we're just big Shanklin fans around here, so I'm always going to ride with my boy on that one.
All right, now we'll move on to a OVW Media Championship qualifier, which will see Ashton Adonis, I assume with Layla Feist, but we'll see.
Leela
Feist, yeah. I'm sorry, it's the Futurama thing. Taking on Brandon Beretta, formerly of the Turkey Suit. I still like to call him the Medium Show.
Well, the big question is Leela Feist accompanying Ashton Adonis, and are they going to be on the same page? You're right there. You guys are both right there. You see it every week. It's got to be increasingly frustrating for Ashton Adonis to know that he's a hair away from some pretty big pins, and Leela Feist just kind of can never provide him with the help she thinks she can, right?
Listen, I've said this on Overdrive on commentary. It's all part of the plan.
Okay.
It's all part of the plan. They, you think that it was a mess up.
Okay.
They've told me it's a business relationship that they have.
Well,
it's all part of the plan. And they'll get there.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but all I'm saying is when he was in the back, she got a pin decisively. When she's at the side, he can't win for nothing. So it makes it hard. It makes it hard. It's Ashton Adonis versus Brandon Beretta. I'm gonna go Brandon Beretta because he's gonna cheat and it's gonna make me laugh really hard. I love it whenever guys are like, oh, I'm the real professional wrestler and I have all this training and I have an MMA background, and then they just cheat, and like that is the greatest thing in the world. Brandon Beretta's really found his niche here. I'm going Brandon Beretta.
Brian?
You bring up a really good point about Leela Feist, but
I think she is the fork in the road here, basically, for Ashton Adonis.
Well, you could be right, but if it's all going according to plan, then everything's been going according to plan for me since I was in 5th or 6th grade, because that's kind of how I roll. Just almost kind of get things together, not quite. Brandon Beretta had a chip on his shoulder in the turkey suit.
Big time.
And I feel like now that he has gotten out of the turkey suit, that chip is even bigger. I'm going Brandon Beretta.
Yeah, he thought he was done with gobble gobbles, but
no, he will never live that down.
Think about too, just the hearing the gobble gobble in the back of his mind during the match. Can that play a factor?
Yeah,
when he does too, or like we saw him pull the trunks last week. Maybe that may happen again.
You just never know.
Question: did he wash that turkey suit? He was wearing it for a few months.
Who possesses that turkey suit currently?
I don't even know.
I wondered about that.
I saw it laying on the floor somewhere in the locker. So
I'm really scared that it wasn't burned, it might come back.
He was probably happy that he was rid of it. But
I can't see
wadded up in the corner somewhere.
I can't see a world where he washed that thing for 4 months. But that's just really a dumb wrestling nerd question. I'm asking the real questions here. Did he wash the turkey suit?
Well, I mean, inquiring minds want to know.
It's true.
Brian, what was your pick on that again? Adonis versus Beretta?
I'm still going with Brandon Beretta.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into an OVW Rush Division qualifier, which will see the return of fan favorite, WoW trainer, veteran in this business, not to step on Jack Vaughn's toes, TW3, taking on the Cody Rhodes you have at home, Jake Painter.
So, a few weeks ago on Rise, or on Overdrive, I'm sorry, was the crowd chanting, "You're not Cody" at Jake Painter? That's what it sounded like over the television.
I think it was Overdrive because I was breaking down.
Yeah, it was on an Overdrive. Yeah, that's that kid's got it tough right now.
I think y'all are a little hard on him.
I think
he's very talented.
I think he's extremely talented, but I also have next to no self-esteem. So when I see a guy like Jake Painter, I have to take him down a couple of pegs.
Fair enough.
No, he is extremely talented, and I've said this in the past. Like, he very obviously wears his influences on his sleeve, and that is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Like, to be influenced by people and to take it and to commit yourself to the art of wrestling and everything that implies. Like, it is a beautiful, wonderful thing to wear your influences on your sleeve. But OVW is a tough crowd, and they can get mean. So,
yeah. Notice nobody ever wears white trunks in that building. I can't imagine there's not like a notification when you sign the contract to play here one time if you've never been here before. Somebody needs to take you aside and say, "Look, just don't wear white trunks. You will not have a good time."
I actually am going to go Jake Painter.
All right.
I think that it could be TW3 is a sentimental favorite. Everybody loves TW3. He's a great singles wrestler, great singles star, great tag team wrestler. I just think that heading in with possible pay-per-view implications, I think it's Jake Painter. I think he's ready.
Okay, love it. Brian.
I couldn't agree more. I mean,
look at that.
I love TW3. Always going to have a soft spot. Was great to catch up with him in here, but like you said, we're heading into a pay-per-view, and I really feel like Painter's the way to go.
Well, you're longtime friends with T-Dub. I know who you're picking.
I mean, hey,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say I'm rooting for anyone specifically, just like obviously being at a commentary too. I mean, I'm there for the action, all the surprises, all the shocks.
Sure.
But obviously, yes, I have known TW3 for a long, long time, both from Wisconsin and whatnot. But Jake Painter is also very talented too.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of commentary, Brian Kennison returns to the commentary booth this week. How are you feeling about that?
Everybody's been waiting. I don't know where he's been.
That's a mystery we have to find out tomorrow.
Maybe they'll explore it on Overdrive. Maybe he's got another wife in in another country. He seems to collect those in the Overdrive universe. It's very weird. All right. Well, we do have one more match.
Uno mas.
Yes. Oh, one. Okay, sorry. One more match, which will find the thing that in some ways people have been waiting on for years is Superior Tony Evans taking on the Red Right Hand himself, Jay De Niro. Like, first of all, I don't understand how this happened.
Luck the draw, baby. Luck the draw.
It's okay. You gotta love it.
A chance at.
Oh, so this is a qualifier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I watched Rise. I watched their segments 3 times, trying to figure out where they fell out with one another, and I'm like, no, they just tricked Anthony Katina to run into the ring and take the pin.
Smart stuff.
But yeah, I guess it's just luck of the draw and. The crowd, I feel like I could run my appliances in my house for 10 years on the energy that's going to be in the crowd tomorrow when this match pops up.
Yeah.
So this will solve or make an attempt to solve once and for all how tight these two guys are. We've got title implications, pay-per-view implications, payday implications, and just plain old self-respect implications, right? Jay De Niro has been kind of led around by Tony Evans for a really long time. This could be the moment where he says, you know what? The paycheck isn't enough for me anymore. I want to branch out on my own. I want to be a single star. I want to be a champion in Ohio Valley Wrestling. So that's the question of the match, is how airtight is the relationship between Tony Evans and Jay De Niro? We'll find out tomorrow. This is an impossible This is an impossible task, really.
You just want to flip a coin?
You got one?
Actually, yeah, I do.
Yeah, go ahead and flip a coin. I'll take tails.
Okay.
And I mean, you gotta figure if you listen to Tony, I mean, he's on this great winning streak right now. So
Yeah, he's
we-
never lost if you ask Tony.
Yes.
So
No.
It's like those months when he was the Kentucky champion, though he never actually had the belt. Remember, he used to always be like, "I am the real Kentucky champion."
That's right.
it's kind of like Larkin's knife. you know?
Yeah.
Real.
Is that like Wonder Woman's invisible jet, by the way? Is it made by is there some sort of invisible Lockheed Martin who just makes things?
makes weapons for women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was named after Wonder Woman, so this makes
Yes, she
sense.
was.
Oh,
See, it's all coming
Very
together.
cool. Circle of life.
Linda Carter. That's right. Carter.
Yes. Also lovely.
Having grown up in the 70s, I am aware of this.
All right.
there's that.
So who are we taking on Tony Evans versus?
So we're
De
going to
Niro?
flip a coin.
Yeah, call it in the air.
All right. Heads.
Oh.
And I lost it.
It's heads.
So who do you want?
De Niro.
I'll take Tony Evans then.
There we go.
Right. Somebody's going to be right. Okay.
That's how it usually works.
That is a tough spot. Not only as like to predict, but like for those two guys, like if you're Tony Evans, you gotta be a little like, uh-oh. I might have crossed the line with this guy one too many times now that we're in this position.
Well, you've seen his social media. He says, "You know what to do, big guy." I mean, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Well,
see.
We know
Harris
what Tony's
has had some
expectation
words
is.
back too, so I'm really, really looking forward to this one. And I've known De Niro for a long time too, just Wisconsin over the years
That's
as well.
right,
So
yeah.
I've seen the training and him just thriving right now here at OVW.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
is awesome.
And I mean, we've brought this up a couple of times. Whenever he got face to face with Cash on the outside a couple weeks ago, he didn't turn coat on him, man.
Nope.
He laid into him, man. He took him down to his knees. Jay De Niro's come into play. So you might have won the coin toss on that one. But never count out Tony Evans, man. Never count out Tony Evans.
Well, that's true, yeah.
All right, you guys ready to get into some questions
yes.
and comments and stuff? I've got a bunch of them.
Of course, there's that other match too, but there's so much going on in that one. You don't really need
Which match? Did I leave one out?
the 5-on-5 match. You
Oh.
wanna-
10-man, the
you wanna
10-man.
explain the rules of that?
About me too?
Yeah.
All right.
Please.
Yeah, I may have just thought that's an also appearing poster, which we don't really know what to do with. So I apologize. This was a condensed evening.
Well, no,
were
we
busy.
were going to do some explaining tomorrow
Please.
night on Rise as well,
Perfect.
but it's a 10-man tag match where it's going to contain everybody that's qualified for the big Final Four Fatal 4-Way match
Okay.
next week on Rise. And it's one team against another, and the winning team gets the home field advantage in their Fatal 4-Way match. I don't...
So the home field
Well,
advantage,
well, here's the
basically.
thing. Can we say it yet? That's my thing. Like the winning team gets an advantage in their
We'll explain.
respective Fatal
Yeah.
4-Way match the following
Okay.
week on Rise. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's been fully implicated, so
Right.
I
We'll-
don't want to.
we'll
You'll have to
Don't get us
watch.
in trouble, guys. We hang on
No,
by a thread here.
Yeah.
We'll explain, but there's strange bedfellows on both teams. They were randomly paired together.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you've
So
got,
that's the thing. Is can each team be a cohesive
Cal Hero,
unit?
Icon Lee, and Hoda Peso all on one team and some more. So you never
I'm-
know.
I'm very
You've
much
got some
looking
strange
forward to
bedfellows.
Yeah,
this
see,
now.
I am
that's
sad we
the
missed
truth,
that.
right?
That's
There's more to
fine.
come, but basically the winning team does get their own advantage in their respective Fatal 4-Way Final Four match next week on Rise. So we'll get
big implications in
Yes.
this 10-man tag. Okay.
All right, let's quickly get through some questions. Miguel Oresco says he's always wanted to see OVW. He's from Chicago. Wonders if if you guys would ever do a Chicago show.
We did last year though.
Yeah, I was
we
gonna say
were
there was
in
one
Des
scheduled. Did
Plaines.
it get
Yeah,
there?
that's right.
Yeah,
thought it
so
got
that was at Des Plaines Theater. Would love to go back. I'm from Milwaukee, as we all know, but I love Chicago too. Would love to be back in Chicago and to bring OVW and do a show there as well. I hope so. So
OVW superfan Jason O'Hara says that he loves you guys and loves all the interactions you have.
You're the man, Jason.
Miguel then says, "Come to Chicago, please." Miguel, they were there last year. Maybe they'll come back. We're going to hear about the tour soon.
Miguel, yeah, you're in the right spot to find out OVW news.
That's right.
Tell him Freddie sent you. Ask, is Cash Flow as cool as I think he is?
100%.
Yep.
I can attest to that personally.
Yeah,
too.
I will also attest to that.
I've ridden up and down the roads with him and spent 5 hours with him at Comic-Con, last week. And I will tell you this. I told that man last week when we were, there at the booth and just all the reaction he's getting from everything. I said, brother, you're going to have your own booth next year. So, and I truly believe that. I think Cash is probably going to be downstairs with the big celebs next year.
Yeah.
But totally the coolest guy ever.
I mean, series regular is a nice title to have if you can get it.
Yeah.
However cool you think he is, like he's got a really wonderful energy and he is very intense and to be scared of him because he's a badass, but he gives you no reason to be scared of him. He's a wonderful person.
Yeah. Great heart.
Yeah. Early fan of us too, so we really appreciate Cash a lot. Tell him Freddie sent you. Also ask is what match made you guys all a fan of wrestling?
Well, that's a great question, Freddie.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I've been watching wrestling since I was whatever years old, so it's hard to really pinpoint a certain match.
Do you have the first one you kind of remember that kind of sticks in your brain when you're like, oh wow, and kind of stuck out?
I mean, when I was really young, I can't fully remember, but just a match. Gosh, I mean, I just recall watching Saturday Night's Main Event back then, those matches. But to pinpoint a certain match, let me think about it. So, Eric?
I will say, and I've told you guys this before, my first memory is Memphis wrestling and the studio wrestling. So I don't remember a match specifically, but I remember a lot of Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett and Tojo Yamamoto and all that going on. So that's my earliest memory. But the match that stands out is the first match I really remember is the Hogan-Andre match at the main event where there was the twin referees with the hammers. That one stands out clear in my mind. I remember that very, very well.
It's one of the most iconic moments in the history of the whole wrestling business.
Amazing. And I got a chance to talk to Earl Hebner about that, and just to hear his side of the story is that's the coolest thing. I mean, you've hung out with Earl. He's the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think both of those wrestlers are on the other side of that barrel right there.
No, there we go. The twins.
Yeah. The twins.
Wendy Gayam says that you were talking about how many things you gave names to, Eric. You're the one who came up with the Wisco chicks to call them too, which is you should follow them on Instagram. They're a great wrestling follow there.
Sometimes I just pull that out of nowhere, and I honestly don't even remember giving that a name. I think I might have just said it, and they ran with it.
Oh, hey, it's the Wisco chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously Wisco chicks being at the shows. Wendy Wren, thank you for all the support too.
You used to be a Wisco chick. You're a Kentucky chick.
I'm still both. I can.
Dual citizenship.
I love it here. I'm just saying that I'm still both. We gotta.
You can love your home. It's fine.
I'm trying my best to make her a Kentucky chick, but
all right.
You can be both.
Yeah.
Last question. You guys, anybody want to comment on who they think is the most improved OVW wrestler in, say, the last year? This question, again, comes from Tell 'em Freddie sent you, who's new to the chat, and we're glad to have you, Freddie.
Yes, thanks,
thank
Freddie.
you.
Lots of new names in the chat.
Yes,
we love
lots
to see
of new folks in here tonight.
Man, it's tough.
I know.
There's a lot of improvement. I'll go with somebody we already talked about, Jay De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, good deal.
Yeah.
I have not a wrestler, but Linda, in all seriousness, watching you progress on commentary has been really wonderful. You've really grown into yourself, and it's been a true pleasure to watch.
Yeah, we're really proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you're still the only female commentator on a major broadcast, right? Like Raw, nobody in WWE has any.
Right now.
Yeah.
There's been others I've listened to, looked up. I mean, when Beth Phoenix was doing NXT, Renee, of course.
Renee,
but a little in and out. But you're there week in, week out, putting in the work. So you got to love that.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that.
Stepping out of the comfort zone, but
yes,
you've
but
done
that
great.
we need to do that. So
yeah.
And we have another one, or who do you think actually has been the most improved in our time?
Gosh,
it's tough, isn't it?
In our the last year, the whole existence of the podcast.
The last year. That's what the question was.
Come on, man.
Showtime.
Yeah.
Showtime. The difference in Showtime, just in aura alone, between the 8 months or so between the first time we spoke with him and the last time we spoke with him a handful of weeks ago, I barely recognized him.
Yeah, and I love to see it. I absolutely love to see that.
I'll throw in Sophia Rose.
Yes, that's a great call.
Well, yeah.
Great one
and what'd you say their name was? The Only Bros?
Only Bros, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll enjoy.
Them too.
Yeah. I'm holding out hope against hope that they squeak into the pay-per-view.
That would be fantastic. I would love that.
So last one for Linda specifically is from Cosmic Joe's experience. He wants to know, where can we see you and hear you announcing besides OVW? Is there any place else that other wrestling shows where you work?
Yeah, I mean, back home for Great Lakes Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Hero. So any of the shows back home in Wisconsin, done those. I was just in Cleveland helping out, announcing at NWA Exo Pro as well.
Okay.
But obviously OVW, my bread and butter, my home, my love, so you can always see me down here doing Overdrive right now, which is great.
Yep.
Yeah, I love an Overdrive right now. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get into the calendar.
Well, one second. Guys, where could we find you on social media?
Well, I was going to come back to you.
No.
Well, I mean, on Instagram, Linda K PWR. On the X, I still say Twitter, but the X, Linda K 22, and also have my website, lovelylindak.com. And then, really quick, the last question I said we'd come back to me about the matches.
Yes, please.
I mean, like I said, matches way back in the day is what I can't pinpoint, but one just like really stands out. Once I was ordering the pay-per-views was Stone Cold Bret Hart Survivor Series. But just saying, that just came to mind. But
yeah, for me, most of the socials all Eric at Eric on the Air, and you can. I think I'm on whatever Cameo as at Voice of the Valley.
Sweet.
So that's the main spots you can find me.
All right. Let's see the calendar tomorrow. Oh wait,
I was wondering. I have a question. Can we run that clip one more time?
The whole thing.
Run the whole thing.
The whole thing, Malachi.
DJ's going to be in so much trouble.
I mean, we're just borrowing from your air.
All right,
You're right.
All right. So tomorrow, 6:15 p.m., 4400 Shepherdville Road. It is OVW Live, where you can see Overdrive. Some matches you can't see anywhere but they're live. They're called dark matches. But then at 7 p.m., they go live. I'm just in the audience. Fight TV, YouTube, all over the world. OVW Rise. We're excited. Monday morning, check out our interview with somebody. We're not telling you who. You just got to tune in and see on our YouTube channel. Oh, very next thing, right after this, right now, actually, you can catch our latest episode of the OVW podcast. That's episode 91. Check on that. And, we're back to back, baby. Then next Tuesday is the show that always kicks out at 2. That's OVW Overdrive with our man, Voice of the Valley, Eric Cornish on commentary. Do you do ring announcing on that one, Linda? I forget. Yep. That's what I thought.
She's doing ring announcing for that. I'm next to Carmen Michael. You never know. That'll change up. Last week it was Carmen and Josh, and
it keeps shifting.
Carmen, he can talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Carmen's great.
And then, so we pretty much swap.
Right.
We swap. Yeah. Then we.
So next Wednesday, right here, this 6 days, 23 hours from now, we'll be right back here with OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back.
My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
Eric Cornish, lovely Linda Kay, thank you so much for joining us. For Tiny Brian and Malachi P.S. Woodard, this has been the OVW Fan Zone Live.